In order to figure out how many iPhones can fit into a cube that is 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot, the best plan of approach is to use the guess and check method. We also have to keep in mind that we can't melt down the iPhone, so that there's going to be some empty space left in the box when we're done. The dimensions of the iPhone X is 5.65 inches by 2.79 inches by 0.3 inches. To find out how many iPhones wide fit in the box, we need to take the width, which is 2.79 inches, and multiply it until we get closest to 12 inches. The closest we can get is multiplying 2.79 by 4 iPhones, which is 11.16 inches. Then to find out how many iPhones long we can fit in the box, we have to take 5.65 times a certain number to get closest to 12. That number is 2. This gives us 11.3 inches, which is the closest we can get to 1 foot without going over. And then to find out how many iPhones tall, we have to take 0.3 inches and try to figure out how many times that goes into 12 inches, which is 40 times, which it happens to be a perfect fit. So then to find the total amount of iPhones that will fit in the box, we need to take the number wide times the number long times the number tall, which would be 2 iPhones, or 2 times 4 times 40 equals 320 iPhones total.
We wanted to determine what the dimensions of a cube would be that could contain 1 million iPhone Xs. So in order to do that, we used the dimensions of one iPhone X to plug into our equation that you can see here. We determined that the end result would be a 14 foot by 14 by 14 foot cube needed to fit 1 million iPhone Xs. Next, we wanted to determine what the weight of 1 million iPhone Xs would be. In order to do that, we took the weight of one iPhone, which is about 0.3836 pounds, and multiplied that by 1 million to get our weight of 383,600 pounds for 1 million iPhones. We found that is about as much as a blue whale weighs, which is the largest animal to ever have been known to live on this earth.
We wanted to know how high a million iPhones would be if they were stacked. One iPhone X is 0.3 inches. If you were to take 1 million times 0.3 inches, you would get 300,000 inches, which if you were to convert it, it would be 25,000 feet. If we were to compare anything that's about the same height, it would be Mount Everest, which is 4,000 feet higher than the iPhones.
Alright, so our next question was, how many acres would the iPhones cover if they were laid out flat, 1,000 feet wide and 1,000 feet long? So, first what we have to do is figure out the width of one iPhone, which is equal to 2.79 inches times 1,000 equals 2,790 inches wide. So that's the width. And the length of one iPhone is 5.65 inches times 1,000 equals 5,650 inches long. And then next, we combine the two to find out the answer to the question. So 2,790 inches times 5,650 inches equals 15,763,500 inches to the second power, which equals 2.5 acres. So if you combine that to the real world, 2.5 acres, the answer is pretty much, it would be close to the area of 2 football field lengths. So our answer to letter E, to how many acres would the iPhones cover if they were laid out flat, 1,000 feet wide and 1,000 feet long, is that it's close to the area of 2 football fields, which to me is pretty freaking big. So, alright, the next question is, a school bus is 9 feet by 11 feet by 41 feet. So how many school buses could be filled with 1 million iPhone Xs? So, again, we got to figure out the width, length, and height of this iPhone. So the width of one iPhone equals 132 inches over 2.79 inches equals 47 iPhones. The length of one iPhone equals 492 inches over 5.65 equals 87 iPhones. And the height of one iPhone is 108 inches over 0.3 equals 360 iPhones. So, all that combined together, that equals to 1,472,040 iPhones per bus. That's a lot of iPhones. So, now we figure out how many school buses could be filled with those. So, what we do is take that 1 million and divide it over 1,472,040, which equals to 0.68 buses. So 68 buses is how many school buses could be filled with the million iPhones, which is a lot.
So we asked if we stacked 1 billion iPhone X's to completely cover a football field, how tall would they be? And we found that it would be about 570 inches tall, which is about 47 feet tall, and that is about as tall as a 4-story apartment building, just so you can get a reference for that and get a better visual understanding. Now, lastly, we asked if we put 1 billion iPhone 10s in one tall stack, how relative would it be to the Earth, Moon, and Sun in the solar system? So we found that if you were to somehow stand on top of 1 billion iPhone 10s, you would get to about 2% of the way to the moon. And then if you laid 1 billion iPhones end to end, you would be able to make it 3.28% of the way around the sun. So, not very far.